You're probably gonna hear my cat because she literally is like so obsessed with me. Like the second I have her out there, she starts screaming. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be doing the mid-year book freakout tag, and I am really excited to do this, but also I'm really scared because that just means I'm exposing myself on the books that I have not been getting done. I have not been reading a lot. A lot of it did have to do with me just transitioning to new jobs, but also The Queen of Tears on Netflix is a K-drama that's been just taking over my life, and I have not really been devoting a lot of the free time to reading. So yeah, I'm just gonna admit that off the bat. But overall, this tag, if you aren't familiar with it, it's like an overall consensus of booktubers just talking about where they are mid-year and kind of documenting what they have read and what they need to read still, and we just all freak out together. Yeah, I just feel like it's a really fun tag. They have like really cool prompts, and I like how it kind of really breaks down in depth and documents where you're at in your reading journey so far. So although I haven't been reading a lot, I still wanted to do this tag because I do find it to be really fun. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get started into this video. So I'm gonna use my phone because a lot of the questions are online, kind of where I find my prompts. I write everything in this little journal, and then I also have it on my phone, so if you kind of see both, yeah. And thank you for whoever created this tag, because you really allow us to really document how much we need to get done and kind of get us back on track. But yes, without further ado, let's get started to the video and see what the questions ask. So the first question asks, what is the best book you read so far in 2024? And the best book I've read so far this year has to be The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I absolutely adored this book. I had a feeling I was gonna really like it, but I honestly did not know I was gonna like it this much. And it really is one of those books where when people really like it and they talk about it all over the internet, you literally see why. And I'm just gonna say that this book has a lot of feelings into it. I know like a lot of people cry over this book, but it's just one of those books where it really does have a lot of emotion and just perspective in the story, and the characters, you like absolutely get so attached to them. So I became really attached to the characters, and I felt so heavy for them, and whenever anything happened, I just felt so emotionally attached to them. So I definitely recommend this book. It was just an amazing read, and I feel like it's one of those books where I wish I could go back to the first time I've read it and just embrace it again. I loved it so much. It was just such a good book. Absolutely recommend. Number 2 is the best sequel you've read so far in 2024. I actually have not read a lot of sequels, but for sure I would have to say, like in terms of a novel, it would be Immortality by Dana Schwartz. I feel like it was like a 4-star read, but it was really good. It ended up not having as much romance as I thought it was going to be, but I really liked the character development. I love the friendships that kind of popped up in the story, and also the representation that happened in the story. I did not expect that. It was really cute, and then also just her being like a powerful woman during that time. I absolutely enjoyed it. I enjoyed her little journey, and actually seeing her as a solo character and seeing her as a surgeon. I just thought that was really cool. So I recommend this book. It was really good. It was actually worth reading the second one. And if not for a novel, the other one I would recommend is a graphic novel. It's a graphic novel, and it would be Beast Boy Loves Raven by Kami Garcia. And I just, oh my gosh, this little graphic novel was so cute. So if you grew up watching Teen Titans, and I absolutely had to, like, my favorite character would definitely have been Beast Boy. It was Starfire when I was younger, but I'm starting to like grow onto Raven a lot, and I just feel like this was such a cute like it felt like fanfic, but it was just so good. I definitely recommend it. It was really good, really fast paced, read in one night. Really good. Totally recommend. So number 3 is new releases that have came out but you have not read yet, and it is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I have literally been seeing this book everywhere. I'm so captivated by the cover and captivated by it, especially ever since I started reading her other book. I am really interested to see more of her books, and yeah, so I just know it's like more of like a old-time type of story. There's like romance. I remember reading it said whimsical and wit, and that just instantly captivated me. I'm not for sure about how the synopsis goes. It sounded like a really interesting read, and it's just something that I have been eyeing ever since it came out, and everybody's been talking about it, and the way that they describe the romance just sounds like such a beautiful, cute romance that I just feel like I have to read. So yeah, that's definitely one of them that is on my list. I'm hopefully gonna do a review on this channel. Number 4 is the most anticipated release during the second half of 2024, and I think based on Goodreads it says that this book will be published sometime in October, I believe. And this is The Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. Although this is not a novel, I think it's an illustrated novel, I'm still really excited because I actually really did like the Caraval series. Even though it wasn't what I expected, I loved how the characters were created, and I feel like it was just so like fairy tale like. So I'm really excited to see like how she portrays them into visuals, and I just feel like it'd be really cute based on like how she created this world and how in depth she made it. I'm really excited to see like how the illustrations come about. I'm not for sure if she illustrated them, but if not, I'll put it up here. But overall, I'm just really excited. Ever since I saw that it was coming out, I've just been absolutely excited. It's been on my list, and the cover of it is so pretty to me. It's like red and white, and I'm excited. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but I'm excited to see her adaptation of characters into a visual and to see what it's about as well. So that's for sure on my list. Number 5 is Biggest Disappointment, and okay, I just want to go off the bat and say that I still find this series one of my most favorite series ever. I'm not saying that this is like a 1-star read. This was still a really high star read for me, but I think I was just really having a lot of high expectations for this book, and when I read it compared to the other ones, I just wasn't as captivated by it as much because it didn't have the same build-up as the other ones did. And I'm kind of like sad to say this because I didn't really talk about it much, and I don't know if I really want to say it, but it is The Queen of Nothing. And it's not that I didn't like it, I absolutely loved it. That's what's so weird. Like, it's for me to say it's one of the biggest disappointments, but it's because I had so much high expectations. I absolutely loved the Cruel Prince, and I loved the Wicked King, and don't get me wrong, there's some parts in this book that I absolutely went bananas over. Like, I loved a lot of parts in this book, but I think I was expecting more characters to be present in this book, and I was like kind of sad about that actually. And then also I just felt like because that character wasn't in it as much, there wasn't as much romance, and I know none of the other one has as much romance in it, I get that, and this one actually has like a big romance like scene, so I was like, I get that, but I was just expecting it to have so much more put into it, and then also a little bit more gore and a little bit more betrayal. But I mean, I get it because you have to wrap up a story and wrap up the whole like storyline eventually, so like I think that's what she was trying to do. And like I said, I still rate this as a higher star book. Like, I still definitely recommend it. It was still really good, I still loved it, but I think in terms of like my personal expectations for it, I was a little disappointed because it wasn't like the Wicked King where it was like, oh heckity no, what happened, that betrayal was insane, or like the gore from the first one, or the like romance kind of building up. There was romance in this one that I absolutely loved. Like, I love those parts, don't get me wrong, but I just felt like some characters weren't present in it as much, and it kind of made me like a little bit sad. So I think that was just my only disappointment. But overall, I still really like this book. I just felt like because it's one of my most favorites, it also held a lot of high expectations for me, which is also not the book's fault. So, but I would have to say that as for now. So one day I'm probably gonna look at this and hate myself, but I'm just gonna put that down for now. But like I said, I still recommend it. It's still really great book, and it's still one of my most favorite series ever. Question number 6 is The Biggest Surprise, and honestly, it was Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I knew I was gonna like this book, but I did not know I was gonna love it this much, and I did not know I was become really obsessed with it this much. I actually became really obsessed with the whole heist and the whole adrenaline rush of the book, and I even played like a soundtrack in the background while reading it, and it just amped up the experience so much more, and it was just so good. Like, it literally consumed me the second I was reading it. I had to devote like precious time to reading it. I didn't want to just read it just to read it. I like literally did it when it was like the quiet of the night, and I was like wind down from the night, and I absolutely loved it. I knew I was gonna like it, but I did not know I was gonna love it this much, and I also didn't know I was gonna be able to follow it this much. I thought I was gonna get lost in it because for some reason I thought it was gonna be like Dance of Thieves, where a lot of people really like it. And don't get me wrong, I like Dance of Thieves, but I did end up getting lost a lot throughout that story. So I thought it was gonna be one like the other stories like that, like where it was really good but you kind of get like, you find it to be slow. Did not ever find this book to ever be slow. It was always good. I felt like literally it was like cinema put into a book. It was just so good. I loved it so much. New favorite author. Okay, so I am definitely going to say Taylor Jenkins Reid. I know I only read one book by her, but I can already tell that I'm gonna absolutely love her books. A lot of people have said that if you like this book, you're gonna love her other ones, and I feel like I have to read her books now. And I know it's such like a common author to hear about, but I feel like I loved and adored her writing in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, so now I'm just absolutely excited to see her other books. And then also I would say Leigh Bardugo, because seeing how she wrote this whole world, I am absolutely obsessed and invested, and I'm just so excited to see like her other stories, such as The Familiar. I'm just really excited. I feel like I have to give it a try. I have to see what I think about it, because her like in-depth writing, it was just really good. It was really cinematic. So I also would say that she's one of my new authors as well, that I'm like, every time I go to the store and I see her name, I eye it out. Number 8 is, I actually changed it because I don't have one, but I do have a, it says new, originally the question is newest fictional crush, but mine would be newest fictional best friend. And it was kind of hard for me to choose because I don't really feel like I got really connected to any of the characters either, but I do have to say one of them was Hazel in Immortality, only because I feel like if she was one of my friends, she'd be like a really like scholarly, super intelligent, all about bringing like the right equalness for women. And I don't know, I'm wording this so stupid, but I feel like the way that she was held in this second story, I liked her even more because I felt like she was more of like for the women, and just her friendship and like how she grew up with the other women in the story. I just loved it. And I feel like she was also like really empowering, and just how intelligent she is, I absolutely loved it. Like I definitely recommend her in these stories as like a best friend. So I feel like she'd be one of that best friends where like she's like your big sister best friend. Definitely feel like she is one for sure. Number 9 is your newest favorite character, and I kind of had issues choosing this one as well, but I would have to say my newest favorite fictional character was Roger. I feel like he was such a good brother, and he was such a good like character, and even though he made mistakes sometimes, I feel like the way he like kind of went about his situations was really kind of like smooth and calming. Like he took things in a really calm way, and just the way that he like was presented in the story, I just felt like he was like such a perfect big brother. So I feel like he became like one of my favorite characters. I know it's not really much in depth, but it was really, I didn't really have like a favorite character so far, but I would say that Roger from Middlegame was one of my newer like favorite characters. I just really liked how he was represented in this story, how he was to his sister, how he was like when he was like in the mortal world. It was just really cool. Number 10 was a book you cried over. I actually did not cry, but I would have to say the one that made me the closest to crying was definitely Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I've already went over that. It's just a really emotional read, definitely pulls at your heartstrings and hits you really deep. So number 11, a book that made you really happy, and this one will be kind of like near from like when I finished like the end of my December reads going to January, and it'd probably be Love Holly. It was just one of those like, it felt like those Hallmark movies that you watch where it's like those ones that are just like the ones you watch every single year. Sorry, my cat, she's just going so crazy. She like literally jumped on my dining table and pushed off my Cholula sauce. Anyways, let's continue. Yeah, so I feel like 11, Love Holly was just such like a really happy, it was really heavy. Like I'm not gonna lie, there were some parts in it that were really heavy, but it just reminded me of like those Hallmark movies where there's like something serious that happens and it is serious, but just the overall story of it, it just has like a sweet, happy ending. And it was just a really, it was like a happy book. Like I actually do feel like it was like a really happy Christmassy read. Yeah, even though it was a Christmas read, I did finish it in January, so I'm still gonna count it, but happy read for sure. Number 12, I lost my phone. Let me see what it says. Number 12 is your favorite book adaptation to movie. I did not have anything that was like a book adaptation to a movie. I've noticed in the past year I actually had an issue with this same question too, so I can't answer this one. But yeah, unfortunately I haven't had like a book. I haven't had like a book adaptation movie. The next one is The Most Beautiful Book That You Bought This Year. I think all books are beautiful, but if I had to choose one, I do feel like it's not really crazy, but I just feel like it was like a really nice find, and it's this one. It's like just the hardcover of the Book of Night, but I know it's nothing fancy, but I still think it's like really pretty to me. It has like moons and stars, and anything navy with gold I always think is really, really nice. It's nothing fancy, like I said, but I do feel like it's one of like my like nicer books. I do want to get like those like collectors, like fancy edition books, but I have not. I've been trying to be really savvy this year just because I've been taking a lot of Disney trips. So yeah, but I haven't had like a really fancy, but I do have to say that that's actually one of my, like, I feel like it was a pretty book that I brought in this year for sure. Okay, number 15. What books do you really need to read by the end of this year? And honestly, so many. So if I can remember, I'm gonna pop up some pictures right here. One of them on the top of my head would be Renegades. I think by, I forgot her last name, Meyer, but I have been wanting to read this for the longest time. I've heard just like nothing but amazing things. I really want to read R.F. Kuang's books such as Babel and what can I think right now? The Poppy War. I really want to read Nevernight series. Like I really want to read those. I really want to read the Shatter series. There's like so many books that I've been really wanting to read, and yeah, if I remember them I'll pop them up around me, but there's a lot I really want to get done this year. But for sure those are like the ones I really want to get done this year. But yeah, that is it for this tag. I hope I didn't just like make this super quick and too simple, but overall I had fun actually choosing out all the answers for these prompts. And I know this is not really like the most formal video. I kind of just filmed this really late at night after work, but overall I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I got to document where I'm at with my reading journey so far this year. Let me know what prompt you guys like best and what your answer would be for your prompt, because I actually like these. I like watching them. I feel like they're really interesting and makes me feel like a little, it's like a little report card for your reading journey. But overall, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Your hair looks longer than last June. There's so much I've been dying to know about you. Can I just? But we've been distant. Is it too soon to call pretending?